A very good morning to everyone. Yesterday we just had a look at the lesson. Yes, we just were discussing about the lesson, and today we'll be discussing in detail by reading the lesson. So please turn your textbooks to page number 77, and we'll underline few words, and if you can just take note of the meaning of those words, and uh, and we'll be discussing the lesson along with the reading. So, page number 77, lesson number 10, the pitcher plant. The leaves and flowers of plants often grow into strange shapes. Some of them resemble flies or butterflies, and we wonder whether it is only an accidental likeness or whether it serves some useful purpose. So, here we have two words to underline, and the first word is resemble, and it's in the second line, resemble, R-E-S-E-M-B-L-E, resemble, and the second word is in the third line, accidental, accidental. And look at the meanings of those words. The meaning of the word resemble is look like something else. Resemble means to look like something else. For example, we see that when we see one person, we can say that that person looks like my friend. So instead of saying that, we can say that that person resembles like my friend. So looks like something else. Okay. And the meaning of the word accidental is happen by chance. It just happened by chance. So please take note of these words, resemble and accidental. So what this paragraph says is, we find that there are leaves and flowers which can be of different shapes and different sizes. Okay. Some of them they resemble or they look like flies or butterflies. Uh, that is when we see, for example, if a butterfly comes and sits on a plant, and the butterfly and the leaves or flowers have the same color or the same shape. So we cannot understand which one is the butterfly and which one is the flower or a leaf until we touch them. So there are plants which have flowers and leaves which resemble like or which looks like flies or butterflies, and so we can think that it can happen by chance. Okay, or we just have in mind that it just happened, maybe by chance it just happened like that, but actually it has a purpose behind it. Okay, it can serve some kind of purpose. So that is what this paragraph is telling about. Like plants which have leaves and flowers, they resemble, they look like flies and butterflies, but it may stand for some purpose. Now the next paragraph. One of the oddest shapes which any plant takes is that of the leaves of the pitcher plant. Okay, one of the oddest means which is unusual. Okay, or unusual shape which any plant takes is the leaves of the pitcher plant. Okay, the leaves of the pitcher plant are some kind of odd thing. In this case, naturalists who have studied the plant carefully have shown us that the strange shape of the leaf really serves a purpose. So I want you to underline the word naturalist. Naturalist means scientists who study about nature. Naturalists are the scientists. Okay, they are scientists who study about nature. So this sentence says that there have been many scientists who study about nature. They uh, studied about the plant, and this shape, that is the shape of the pitcher plant, it actually serves a purpose. Okay, that's what the naturalist found out. Now let's find what the naturalists have found out. Okay, the pitcher plants are found mainly on the islands of Borneo, Java, and Sumatra, and parts of Malaysia. They are also found in Sri Lanka, Madagascar, and some other islands, but not large in numbers. So we find these pitcher plants mainly in these islands. Okay, that is Borneo, Java, Sumatra, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Madagascar, and so on. So not like many, but a few here and there in these islands. Next sentence. The plant is a creeping or climbing shrub which runs along the ground or climbs up other shrubs and short trees. So underline the word shrub, and the meaning of the word shrub is a woody plant shorter than a tree. Shrub is a woody plant shorter than a tree. We have heard about climbers and creepers, yes or no? Shrubs. So this pitcher plant is we can say it as a climber because it can just climb on any tree and grow, or it's a creeper also. That means it can grow on the ground also. And so this is a um, um, and the next sentence, it seems to thrive best upon the mountain tops and the summits of the mountains of Borneo and are often gaily decked with it. So mainly we find these pitcher plants in the mountain tops. Okay, on the mountains we can find them, and the summits of the mountains of Borneo. Okay, when if we go to this place called Borneo, we can see that the pitcher plants are like the mountains are decorated with this pitcher plant. So underline the word decked. Decked means decorated. So if we go to this place named Borneo, this island named Borneo, we can see that the mountain side we find this in a huge number, and they are like uh, a decoration. Okay, these plants stay like a decoration. So the meaning of the word decked is decorated. And there is one more word, thrive. Thrive means to grow. So these pitcher plants, usually we find them on the mountain tops. They grow on the mountain tops. So shall we go to the next page? Page number 78. There are 30 or 40 different kinds of pitcher plants, varying a great deal in size. Underline the word vary. It's the first line. The meaning of the word vary is differ in size. So there are 30 or 40 different kinds of pitcher plants which differ in size. Okay. But the strange thing about all of them is that the ends of their leaves are shaped like pitchers or jugs with lids. So the strange thing about this plant is that the leaves are shaped like pitchers or like jugs. We have seen the shape of jugs, right? So these leaves are in the shape of jugs. And so underline the word pitcher. The meaning of the word pitcher is containers, especially for liquids. So jugs are mainly we use for pouring water, juice and so on, right? So the shape of this leaf is like a kind of a jug, and so that's how we got the name pitcher. It is from this peculiarity that the plant takes its name. Underline the word peculiarity. The meaning of the word peculiarity is strange or unusual feature. That means this unusual thing is the main feature. Okay, the shape of the jug. Okay, so this is a peculiar thing we find in the pitcher plant. The leaves are in the shape of a pitcher or a jug. This is the main peculiarity. The next line. The leaf is the shape of any ordinary leaf until it reaches its point where it is drawn out into a long stalk, at the end of which is the jug or pitcher, which in fact is formed out of the leaf itself. So it's like any ordinary leaf. It has a stalk like thing, but at the end of the stalk we find this pitcher. The next paragraph. Each plant has its own shape of jug, and the jugs vary in size a good deal. So each plant has different sizes of pitchers. Some are long and slender, others are broad and shallow. Underline the word slender. Slender means thin. So some pitchers are long and they are very thin, whereas some are broad and shallow. So underline the word shallow also. the meaning of the word, it's on the same line. The meaning of the word shallow is not deep. Okay, some are long and thin, some are broad and not deep. Next sentence. Some are tiny jugs only an inch deep, while others are perhaps 20 inches deep. Their color is green, but the mouth of the jug and the upper side of the lid, which is always open, are spotted with red or purple. Usually the color is green, but the lid's color is different. It is like red or purple in color. Next paragraph. Not only do these strange leaves look like jugs, but they are also used as jugs. Each of them contain a little supply of water varying with the size of the jug from a few drops to as much as a liter. So these leaves they are not just simply it's because of the shape we have called them jugs or pitchers. No, it serves a purpose, that is we can get water from those pitchers. Okay, like from few drops to a liter we can get from the pitcher plant. Next sentence. Thirsty travelers can sometimes quench their thirst from these natural jugs when water is not found anywhere, though underline the word quench. The meaning of the word quench is satisfy one's thirst. So if any traveler is thirsty and if he doesn't find water everywhere but he finds a pitcher plant, he can drink the water from that and he can satisfy his thirst. Next sentence. Though the water itself is palatable, it is warm and always full of insects. So, underline the word palatable. The meaning of the word palatable means pleasant to taste. So, the water in the pitcher plant, uh, it's it's pleasant in taste. Okay, it has a good taste, and it is also warm and it's always full of insects. Okay, it's warm, it's good to taste and is always full of insects. Next paragraph. If we were to watch one of these jugs of the pitcher plant for some time attentively, we would soon find that it serves as a trap for flies and insects. Okay, this pitcher actually it serves as a trap for flies and insects. One by one, the little creatures alight upon the outside of the jug and creep into the open mouth, and few or none of them can ever return. They slip into the water at the bottom of the jug and are drowned. But why do insects enter the jug and how is it that they cannot get out again? So, uh, actually, it's placed like a trap. Okay, that is if an insect it just falls into this thing, it can never escape. It can maybe, but the chances are very low. So the question is, how can they enter and how can they never come out? That's the question here. Next paragraph. A careful examination of the jug reveals the clever way in which the trap is made. The mouth of the jug is held open by a ring. A lid stands over the next page, the mouth, and seems to be very raised so that insects and flies may enter freely. But it covers the mouth in such a way so as to prevent anything from falling accidentally into the jug. The underside of the jug and the mouth of the jug looks like brightly colored flowers so as to attract insects. Some of the jugs even make a little honey which attracts insects by its scent. Just below the mouth, there is a row of stiff hooks which have their points turned towards the bottom of the jug. Below the hooks, the sides of the jug are so smooth and slippery that few insects can stand on them. So, this is what the story behind the pitcher plant is. So, the sides of the pitcher is very slippery and the lid is of different colors. So, and there's one more thing, some pitchers they produce some kind of fluid and which has a different scent. So because of all these things, because of the color, because of the scent, most of the insects and flies are attracted to it, and that's how they fall into this trap. Next paragraph. It is easy to see how the trap works. Insects are attracted to the picture by the bright colors of the lid or the scent of the honey, as we have told. They creep into the mouth and crawl between the hooks, and then they step upon the smooth and slippery inside of the jug. In another instant, they have slipped into the water at the bottom of the jug. However hard they try, they cannot climb up the slippery sides of the pitcher or pass the row of sharp hooks, whose points are turned against them. They are caught. So once they are in this pitcher plant, or on the that is on the sides or at the lid, near to the lid, they can never ever escape. It's very hard to escape. Next paragraph. All this is very strange and wonderful, but why has nature given the plant this clever machinery? What does this pitcher plant need to entrap these insects for? So, actually, this is very strange, right? And this pitcher plant is a carnivorous plant. We have already discussed about it yesterday. They feed on insects. Okay, so they feed on meat. So, why do these pitcher plants entrap the insects? What is the reason behind this? So, let's find out. After long and careful observation, botanists were able to find out the reason for the natural insect trap. So, underlined with the word botanist, the meaning of the word botanist is scientists who study about plants. Botanists are the scientists who study about plants. So, botanists have found that found the reason behind the pitcher plant. Let's look at the reason. The fluid at the bottom of the pitcher digests the insects trapped inside, and the pitcher plant feeds on them. The juices of a stomach dissolve food so that it may pass into the blood and nourish us. In the same way, the fluid in the jug of the pitcher plant dissolves the flesh of the insects which fall into it and makes that flesh fit to nourish the plant. This strange plant lives, in part at least, on insect flesh, and the clever mechanism of its jug is used to get a meal. So before discussing this paragraph, I want you to underline the words dissolve. The first one is botanist. You already have done botanist. The second one is dissolve. It's in the fifth line, dissolve. And in the last line, you find the word mechanism. So note the words. Botanist means scientist who study about plants. And the meaning of the word dissolve is to melt. Okay, the food melts. The procedure. Okay, that is the meaning of the word dissolve. And there's one more word, nourish. Underline the word nourish. It's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line. Nourish. The meaning of the word nourish is to nutrify. The meaning of the word nourish is to nutrify. And the meaning of the word mechanism is structure or system. So, botanists have found the reason that this pitcher has a fluid at the bottom, and this fluid helps to digest the insects which is trapped inside. For example, like we have food, right? So, when we eat food, it goes into a stomach, and our body produces a lot of acids or juices, and because of that, the food gets digested and we get nourished. We get energy from the food. So, in the same way, this pitcher plant also has a fluid inside the pitcher, and this fluid digests or dissolves the insects, and from the insects the plant is nourished. So actually these insects are like a meal, like how we have food. These pitchers are having food, and the food is insects. This is the clever mechanism or the clever system behind the pitcher plant. And there are a lot of carnivorous plants. Yesterday I told you to find out a few of them, and one of them is Venus flytrap. Okay, and this is also a carnivorous plant. We can find a lot of different kinds of carnivorous plants. So if you can just Google it and find out. And this is our lesson. Isn't it interesting, children, to learn about the pitcher plant? Yeah, it's such a strange plant, right? Yeah. And so this is our lesson, and please go through the lesson once again and read the lesson and take note of the meanings of the words. And this is so this is our 10th lesson, and please read the lesson once again so that you can understand about this pitcher plant more, and can know about the pitcher plant a lot. And so this is for today, and from tomorrow we'll be discussing the exercises of this lesson. And um, this is for today, and be safe and bye.